Niccolò Machiavelli, the Renaissance political philosopher, is often remembered for his cold realism, sharp political analysis, and the controversial phrase, "the ends justify the means." However, beneath the surface of his political writings lies a deeper message about what it means to live a meaningful, fulfilled life. For Machiavelli, fulfillment was not about inner peace or emotional satisfaction. It was about power, control, legacy, and the ability to act boldly in an unpredictable world. His model of life fulfillment centers on mastering chaos through calculated strength, rather than retreating into comfort or moral idealism. In the following sections, we explore how Machiavelli believed individuals could achieve life fulfillment through the pursuit of virtù, the confrontation with Fortuna, and strategic, impactful action. First, understand the role of virtù. At the heart of Machiavelli's concept of fulfillment is virtù, a quality that combines strength of character, tactical intelligence, courage, and the ability to seize control of one's circumstances. Virtù is not moral virtue, but rather the capacity to act decisively and effectively, especially in high-stakes or chaotic situations. A person with virtù can rise above limitations and force the world to respond to their will. Take, for example, Elon Musk. Regardless of how one views his personality, Musk exemplifies virtù in the way he tackles enormous challenges, from transforming electric vehicles at Tesla to launching rockets with SpaceX. His ambition, risk tolerance, and ability to execute bold ideas reflect the Machiavellian ideal of someone who shapes his environment instead of being shaped by it. Second, acknowledge the power of Fortuna. Machiavelli recognized that no matter how skilled or intelligent one might be, life is still partially governed by Fortuna, the unpredictable force of fate, luck, and changing circumstances. However, he believed that those with virtù could prepare for fortune's swings and take advantage of opportunities when they arise. In today's world, consider Oprah Winfrey's story. She was born into poverty and faced numerous obstacles, yet when an opportunity in television arose, she prepared, acted decisively, and ultimately transformed her luck into a media empire. Machiavelli would have praised her not for her kindness alone, but for her ability to conquer fortune through strength, timing, and preparation. Fulfillment, then, comes not from lamenting one's fate, but from facing it with courage and strategy. Third, prioritize power and control. For Machiavelli, power is not inherently corrupt, it is necessary. Without power, a person is at the mercy of external forces, unable to protect their values, people, or purpose. Power grants freedom. The freedom to make decisions, set goals, and influence outcomes. In modern terms, consider someone like Angela Merkel, the former German chancellor. Her long-lasting control over European policy and her ability to navigate crises with quiet strength demonstrated how power, when wielded wisely, brings not just stability but purpose. Machiavelli would argue that Merkel's career, defined by control, influence, and stability, is far more fulfilling than a life lived passively, even if peacefully. Fulfillment requires that we gain and maintain the ability to direct our lives and shield them from chaos. Fourth, choose realism over idealism. A key pillar of Machiavellian thinking is that the world is not governed by ideals, but by raw human nature, often selfish, fearful, and unpredictable. A fulfilled life does not come from imagining how things should be, but from dealing with how they are. This realism allows people to prepare for challenges and succeed where others fail. A real-world example of this is Sheryl Sandberg, the former COO of Meta, Facebook, who rose to prominence not just through skill, but through strategic understanding of the corporate world. She recognized early on that relationships, influence, and perception mattered as much as productivity, a very Machiavellian insight. Her ability to thrive in a male-dominated tech industry was not by demanding fairness, but by playing the game better than most. Fulfillment, Machiavelli would say, belongs to those who accept human nature and use it to their advantage. Fifth, act decisively and boldly. Machiavelli repeatedly emphasized the importance of bold, timely action. Waiting too long for perfect conditions leads to missed opportunities, while decisive action, even if risky, often earns respect and results. He believed it is better to be feared than loved if one must choose, because fear leads to control, and control leads to success. A fitting modern example is Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. At the onset of the 2022 Russian invasion, Zelenskyy refused to flee Kyiv, choosing instead to stay and rally his people. That decision, bold and dangerous, transformed his image from a comedian-turned-politician to a symbol of resistance and leadership. Machiavelli would have called this a perfect example of virtù in action, making bold choices under pressure to achieve greatness and meaning. Sixth, seek legacy over pleasure. Machiavelli believed that life's deepest fulfillment came not from comfort or happiness, but from legacy, the lasting impact of one's actions. True greatness comes from contributing something that survives you, an idea, a nation, an institution, or a cultural shift. Think of someone like Martin Luther King Jr., who sacrificed personal safety and well-being to lead the civil rights movement. He endured prison, threats, and eventually assassination, yet his legacy is monumental. Machiavelli would admire King not for his pacifism, but for his ability to move history, to mobilize people, and to leave behind a story that still shapes political and moral debate. Pleasure fades, but a legacy cements one's fulfillment for generations. Seventh, apply these principles in modern life. While Machiavelli wrote in a time of princes, popes, and warlords, his principles are remarkably applicable today. In your career, understand the political landscape, who holds power, how influence works, and where you can strategically align yourself. In personal development, focus on building strength, courage, and the ability to act without waiting for external validation. In leadership, manage perception and timing as much as ethics. For instance, someone launching a startup must not only build a great product, but also manage investors, competitors, and media narratives. Those who understand Machiavellian realism will not only survive, they will thrive. Life fulfillment today, as in the Renaissance, still belongs to those who lead, influence, and act with bold intelligence. Conclusion: if Machiavelli could speak to us today about how to live a fulfilled life, he would not urge us to seek happiness through balance, love, or spiritual quiet. Instead, he would say, build strength, prepare for chaos, understand power, act boldly, and leave behind something that matters. Fulfillment, in the Machiavellian sense, is found not in feeling good, but in being great. It is reserved for those who are not content to let fortune decide their fate, but who rise with virtù, seize opportunity, and leave the world forever changed. Thank you for being part of this journey. Your support means a great deal. If this content inspires you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss anything. Together, let's continue on this path toward greater clarity, inner strength, and freedom.